Ladies and gentlemen, blessings to all of you. We are live here at the DRMSH official channel, and we have a bunch of awesome human beings right here from the Michael S. Heiser Foundation. We're going to have Dr. Ronn Johnson, who is the host of the Divine Council Worldview podcast. We also have the other two hosts that are actually part of the more practical side of the podcast. We have Rich and Mel. I'm going to introduce them to you. But before I do that, I want to make sure that you go ahead on and make sure to let me know where you're watching from. Let everybody else know by sharing this live stream. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure that you share it onto your wall and all the groups that you're part of. Go ahead and share it on the DCW group, because I didn't share it there. So hopefully somebody's going to share it there. Also, if you are on YouTube, make sure that you tag your friends. Make sure that you share it, you grab it, and you put it in your group text at church, everywhere else, because we have some crazy awesome announcements today. So make sure that you let me know that everything sounds good and it looks good, because I don't have the ability to do that from where I am, because I'm producing and not checking to see if the production is going well, but it looks like it is. So what I want to do is to make sure that you guys go ahead on and let me know in the comment section what you guys are expecting out of this live stream. How many of you guys have seen the new Michael S. Heiser Foundation website? And if you guys know anything about the conference that we are going to be hosting in the next few weeks. But while you guys do that, let me go ahead on and bring the fellas. Fellas, how you doing?
Hello.
Got to give you guys a big entrance, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
So go ahead on and I guess in my screen from left to right. Hey guys, wait a minute. I think something is not right. Are we still streaming? Are we cut off? I am looking here and it says, let's see. Make sure. Can you guys assure me?
It looks like
It looks like I'm frozen, or it looks like no. Everything looks good, right?
Look good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead on, because I got a frozen image here, but it might be something else. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's the connection here. I don't know what's going on here on my stream, but let me.
Yeah, it looks like it's going live.
Are we live? Right? Everything's live. Everybody, I need. I love the guys. Still streaming. You guys are streaming. You're good. You're live. Everyone looks active. Okay. So my bad. Is something happening on my monitor screen? That's why I need you guys to help me. So over here from my screen, from left to right, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
And I'm on the left. Is that
you are the first one.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, good. Yeah, I'm Ronn Johnson. Good to be with you guys. The DCW podcast is my weekly way of being part of the program, and me and Mike Chu enjoy that a lot together. The Daily Dose of Bible on the DRMSH website. That's coming out every day too, and we have biweekly Q&As that we enjoy. So that's my main way. And tonight's discussion about the book. That's why I'm here, is to discuss where we are on that massive production and how to get that best done by the end of the year with the help of the community. So that's part of why I'm here tonight, is to go through that.
Good. So now we have Dr. Ronn Johnson. We got Rich. Rich, tell the audience who you are and what you're doing here.
Hello, I'm Rich. What do? I hang out with my kids, my wife a lot. Hello out there. And I'm here to discuss the conference that we have coming up here in a few weeks. I really look forward to that. So that's what I'm doing here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you're also a co-host of the Divine Council Worldview
Easy done.
podcast with
That's
Mel.
right.
So now, Mel, you tell us, what do you do and why you're here?
Well, I'm pretty much Rich's sidekick. I think Rich keeps me out of trouble, and I try and keep Rich out of trouble, but I'm not very good at it sometimes. We just have a lot of fun doing the interviews and finding people to do the interviews. Sometimes I don't know if I have more fun in the interviews or either pre or post production, just catching up and talking about the weird things going on. So we have a lot of fun, but we all kind of enjoy each other. I think the last time Ron and I were down in Florida, we got to spend a lot of time together talking about different things. So it's always fun when we all kind of get together and hang out. So I always look forward to these times.
It's pretty awesome, pretty awesome. So now we're going to talk about the conference. We're also going to talk about the book, the Systematic Theology book, and I see a lot of people asking questions about that already. I need to fix the monitor where I'm actually monitoring all the comments that are coming through Facebook and YouTube. So I'm going to do that in just a minute. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to ask you, Rich, first regarding the conference and how this came about. So what I need you to do, I know you love to talk, so that ADHD runs deep here with the.
Are you
bearded,
projecting?
With
Are
the
you
beard,
projecting
yeah, with
on
the
me?
beard. Well, let me finish
You
with
were
the
projecting
bearded
on me.
with the bearded brethren, right?
That's
so
right, baby.
I need you to talk for about 2.5, 3 minutes. So go, tell us about the conference.
Okay, I will do my best. How this conference came about is back in May of last year, I got contacted by Brian Shields, who we interviewed on the podcast. And, you find out where he's from, and he's from Anderson, Indiana. About 2 months later, I got an email from a couple, Trevor and Abby, somewhere about an hour from Anderson, asking me if I knew anybody in Indiana that they could spend time with. And I was like, well, I know this guy. And then I just started thinking about, well, I wonder if I could find 20 or 30 people to just get together, meet for a day or so, have some food, and hang out. Well, it just so happened we interviewed Brian, and I introduced him to Fern and Audrey, who we then interviewed. And I asked them about Brian, and they didn't seem to have anything to say. He wasn't crazy or anything, which is a good sign when I hear that, or I don't hear that from them. And then I just started praying and thinking. I asked Brian, I said, what do you think the possibility of us having a conference where you're at is? And he's like, very good. I was like, okay, well, let me pray about this. And I contacted Fern and Audrey, and we talked a little bit, and I had them think about it. And then I contacted Drina, and Drina, basically took care of it. She made sure that we're going to have enough to be able to invite people to this. So that's how we got to that point. And then it all came together a couple months ago, and here we are. We're going to be in Anderson, Indiana at New Purpose Ministries. There at, I think it's 2404 Dewey, May 2nd and 3rd. Okay, May 2nd and 3rd. The schedule will start at 6:30 on Friday night, May 2nd. So there we go. Anything else you want me to continue on?
No. That's good. That's good. So
Okay.
you're gonna be speaking. Mel, are you gonna be speaking, or are you gonna be doing something else over there, right? While you're there.
Yeah, I'm just, quite frankly, I'm a big kind of hanging out and just making connections. That's kind of my job, shaking hands and hugging babies. I think it's the connections that we make. And so this is one of the things that I have found becomes really, really important at events like this. You need to go to a conference like this with the thought of, I'm not just going there to learn something. I'm not just going to be a consumer. You're actually going to make bigger, broader connections, because the things that you do, the people you know, the connections that you make can often have a bigger, broader kingdom impact. And that's actually kind of one of the reasons why I was already motivated to go to Mike's funeral when he died, but I went knowing that it was going to be really important for me to go, because connections were going to be made. And lo and behold, here all four of us are, and that was a big part of it. So yes, we want you to learn something. We want you to, we also want to hear you share your ideas with other people and talk, kind of get to know you. It's very fun to make these things personal. So that's kind of what we want to do. That's kind of how I'm there. I'm just going to be there, also supporting these guys when they're doing their things, bringing Ron coffee and Mike Chew, whatever it is that he, consumes. And Rich,
and also recording make sure we record a podcast when we're there with the people that goes on.
It's absolutely right.
This really has become like a Divine Council Worldview podcast event in so many ways. Everybody but Pastor Darnell has been interviewed on the podcast. Our last episode that just came out, this week with Jeremy Keys up there in Calgary, mm-hmm. He and his wife Matilda are going to come down and hang out with us. My friends from Kansas, Matthew and Cheryl, they're going to come out. BJ and Andy are going to come out from Knoxville. I mean, it's going to be fun.
That's awesome. So now, Ron, tell us, what are you doing regarding the conference? What are you going to be speaking on?
Yeah, thank you. I can't wait. I was given an opportunity just to bring two addresses. So I chose the topic, what is a Divine Council Worldview? I'm finding that one of the biggest helps I can be in this, shall I call it a movement, is to draw a tent that's big enough or create a tent that's big enough to invite people from all denominations, all backgrounds, all walks of the Christian faith into what we call a Divine Council Worldview. It's not a theology as much as a worldview, because a theology gets too specific on some things, right? But a worldview is how you look at it. So how you look at Scripture. And so I'm going to be giving a session on what exactly is a Divine Council Worldview. I have the 6 main points that I use on my podcast that I have continually gone back to. So I'm going to be developing those, and again, trying to help the audience think in terms of what defines a Divine Council Worldview in its very essence. Then the second one is the image of God, which is the theme of the conference, the image of God. And I'm going to take it from the vantage point of how does the image of God flow into a doctrine of, or a understanding of the atonement. And so I'll leave it there, but that's where my 2 talks will be. And I look forward, like Mel said, to meet and rub shoulders with a lot of DCW folks that, however, we can find each other, let's use these kinds of times to really help. I get emails all the time. I just got one the other day from someone, and I read it to my wife, part of it, how they're starved. I think the last paragraph was, I'm starved for Christian conversation like this. And so this person's halfway across the world, so if anyone can get here to Anderson, Indiana, give it your best shot. So yeah,
that's pretty awesome, man. Well, we are going to be allowing people to come in. Do they have to RSVP?
Yeah, they do. If you go to the michaelsheiserfoundation.org homepage, you can find an events page or events button on the top right. You click on that and you can read about the event that's there. You can meet our speakers, which are Dr. Johnson, Pastor Darnell Williams, Fern and Audrey. And I mean, I'll say something. This doesn't happen very often where Fern and Audrey are out like this. Me and Mike did one with them in Northport, Canada, or Northport, Washington, on the border of Canada, many years ago now, but that was about it. So it'll be rare. And our buddy Brian Shields. So you can go there, and at the bottom you can register as well. Drina is going to buy us dinner. Praise the Lord on Saturday. Would you mind if I go ahead and read through the conference schedule real quick, Jorge?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the conference or the website. So I'm going to bring the website onto the screen. Well, I don't have you. I have Dr. Ron. I thought it was better PR than put you, put you there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it here. It's just me. Now it's even better PR because it's just me alone. Right. And so just go ahead on and talk about the conference as I share the screen and go back and forth between us.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we want to talk about the image of God as it's one of the pillars and foundations of, the Divine Council Worldview and just our worldview in general. So, in the beginning, we're going to have an introduction by all the speakers where we'll talk about some of those things. I'll be the first one to speak that night because on Friday night, because most people that won't be there then. So,
Right.
blessings. But I'm going to talk about the image on the streets of Berkeley, California, as I tell people I spent 10 years on the streets of Berkeley telling people about Jesus from 1997 to 2007. The first 3 years I was on acid. The next 7 was as a disciple of Jesus Christ. So I like to tell those stories because there's a lot of people out there that you can go and love. And then on Saturday, beginning at 10:30, so we gave enough time for everybody to have breakfast on Saturday with someone. When you meet someone on Friday night, find someone on Saturday to have breakfast with. Pastor Darnell will be speaking about exploring the Divine Council Worldview in a multicultural setting. Dr. Johnson explained his. He'll be speaking from 11:30 to 12:30. We'll then have an hour and 15-minute lunch. Then Fern and Audrey will speak at 1:45, and they will be speaking about rediscovering the divine, navigating the unrecognizable image of God in our lives. I look forward to that. I look forward to all of it. It sounds awesome. Brian Shields will then speak at 3 about the image in recovery, as he does a lot of work in recovery, and he himself and all of us really having gone through it. And then Dr. Johnson will finish out, and at 7 o'clock we'll have a Q&A with all the speakers. I will say that after I speak on Friday night, they will have an area set up for all of us to hang out afterwards so that we can all talk. So that'll be excellent. Excellent.
It's pretty awesome. I do want to say hey to Drina, and she said, hey, I thought I was gonna be speaking first because I was gonna introduce you, Rich.
Oh yeah, Drina's going first. I'm just talking that night.
Right. So I wanted to just go ahead and give Drina a round of applause because
Yeah,
it is because of her that we're able to do these, and that we have the DCW podcast, and we're able to put this conference together. We're able to continue to use these platforms to keep pushing forward Mike's legacy. So thank you for everything that you do, Drina, and thank you for allowing us and trusting us, allowing us to do this here and trusting us with Mike's platforms. One of the things that I wanted to say to you, Rich, is, and to everybody here, is that you mentioned about having breakfast with someone in our Cross-Examining Instructor Academy. Many of you guys know that I'm one of the speakers in content creators for crossexamine.org with Dr. Frank Turek. And we do a speakers training every year called the Cross-Examining Instructor Academy. And we intentionally live time in the mornings and in the evenings for the students to be able to hang out with the instructors and for them to be able to network. And some of the best relationships in terms of friendships I have developed through these conversations of like-minded people. So definitely don't let that go to waste, these opportunities to go ahead on and meet new people. So I think it's a very good idea to build this into the conferences themselves and have that. So Ron, you spoke a little bit about the topics and everything. How are you going to break that down?
Which topic you're talking
the topics about? in the conference.
Right. The what is a Divine Council Worldview, again, is designed to just appeal to the entire audience, saying, folks, why are we here? What is it about the worldview that we call a Divine Council idea that draws, frankly, that drew you to this conference and also around the world? What has Dr. Heiser left us to what's the word I want here? To democratize itself into the entire Christian world. Again, I think it's very easy, and this will be one of my themes or one of my concerns of the paper, is that sometimes people are drawn to Mike's work, whether it be Unseen Realm or a YouTube or a paranormal idea. And the weirdness of it is appealing in one sense, because here's a guy, Dr. Heiser, who was an evangelical Christian academic who still understood how to talk about weird stuff, right? And a lot of people found Mike that way. But then when they found out he was a good Christian academic, that's how they got deeper into his work. And so what I think, as Mike has left us, a couple of years ago now, where we need to take this is into the streets. And that's why, again, Rich and Mel are so important in this story. But also, theologically, we need to democratize it. And I like to use that word. We need to make this palatable to the average Christian, to the, well, let's say it this way, the normal church, and especially his pastor and his board. Again, I hear stories all the time of people who love Mike's work, and they take it to the church pastor or a Sunday school superintendent, and they're turned down because, well, that's weird. It's all about angels and stuff like that. And again, that's not what Mike was after. He was trying to help us think more broadly than that, and that's my concern as well. So that's really the main point of the first paper. And again, the second paper is to take that theme of the image and show how it works right into what I would consider a beautiful doctrine of the atonement. And what was Christ doing on the cross in relation to the image of God in man? And how does that work in a very easy, step-by-step process that can again bring, I believe, all versions, shall we say, or views of the atonement into the fold, as it were, and say, here's something that we can all grab onto that we can't deny, shall we say, about Jesus' death and how the image of God is affected. So that's again my themes.
That's pretty cool. I wish I could go. I don't know if I can or not. Still debating. I've traveled. I just got back from Nicaragua. I'm going to say something. Let's see. Yeah, I have to be careful. Because they live in under what is called a silent dictatorship. The only time that I could talk freely was in the car with the phone off. In the things that I heard, it will hurt the people that brought me there if I am too explicit. And also, it will close the doors for me to go back down. But what I'm trying to do is, what I'm going to say here is one of the DCW things that I saw down there. So, without naming names right now, so in the whole country, they've been under the physical, I will say, leadership, if you will, of a couple for many years. Now, out of this couple, now the male, and I'm talking like this on purpose, right? In case they trace this back, and I don't want to get, coming into the country and then get put in a box and then never be heard from again. But that's what happened, well, glory be to God. But the male, it's up in age, so the female now took control of everything. Now, because they controlled the whole nation, they have erected these monuments. They look like a tree. They adorn every major, when you go into a roundabout, they're in the middle. The highest places in every city, the middle of the parks, they have these monuments that look like a tree, and they glow red neon at night. Now, this lady who is in control of the whole nation has openly said that she is a witch. And they took me to a place, they call them like the White Towns. That's what they call it, is on the side of the jungle, where they still do a lot of witchcraft, and there's still a lot of dark magic happening over there. And you can definitely tell that these people who are running the country, running this nation, are way in over their heads when it comes to who is truly running their nation. And the kind of work that we're doing here at the Michael S. Heiser Foundation, I think, what do you call it, Ron? Democratizing this content, making it widely available and widely known across the world is the key to be able to wage spiritual warfare. When, for example, I go to countries, I get invited to countries like this, I know exactly what to tell my church, what to pray about, how to go about it, how to pray about it, and what kind of entities we are going to be dealing with, right? And this is, I think, one of the beautiful things that the DCW allows us to do, and that is to have the proper framework to be able to do ministry, evangelism, and to go and to just be in the good fight. So everybody on the other side of the screen, make sure that you attend this conference if you're in the area. And if you're not in the area, drive there if you can, flight there if you can, hop on a train if you care. If you have a teleportation device, use it too. Just make sure that you show up to the conference. So now, Rich, tell us again when and where.
May 2nd and 3rd in Anderson, Indiana, which is only like 5 hours from Chicago and Cincinnati and all of these places. I have a list of congregations that I found on the church directory that Mike put together some years ago and emailed them to invite them because they may not know. So Anderson, Indiana, May 2nd and 3rd. We'll all be there. We'll all be there. Drina will be there. I'll be there. Ron. I mean, it's going to be a good time.
All right.
Yeah. And y'all be sure to go. Y'all be sure to go to the website, michaelsheiserfoundation.org/events. If you go to the webpage that Jorge's got on the screen, you'll see events at the top. Go there. You'll see the next page, and it'll give you information. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, that's where you register. It's free. You have no excuse.
Right here. So you have the conference schedule, right? You have the conference schedule. You'll have the recommended hotels, and then you have the form right here where you can just register, and is free 99, baby. Free 99. You don't have to pay a penny.
Thank you, Drina,
to come. Absolutely. So again, we're going to have to give Drina a round of applause for making this happen. And speaking of free 99, I have a huge announcement, but I'm actually going to let Ron tell us the story. I want you to give us the superhero origin story of this. Okay, and I want you to go ahead and go all out. I don't want the abridged version. I want the full version. I want you to share with us the story behind this comprehensive systematic theology before Mike passed away, and how you kind of stepped in and stepped up to get this done. Okay?
All right. Well, let's back up then. Mike was at Logos, since about 2007, 8 or so, and he starts writing for the Faith Life magazine. He starts, his output is incredible, of course, and different things, gelled when it came to publishing, and that's where The Unseen Realm finally in 2015 came out as the myth that was true idea, right. And he had a lot of stuff that he was just putting together. And as only Mike could do, he put it into a beautiful volume that, again, has turned heads around the world, right? And I, as we all know, keep hearing from people who get the book, and it changes everything they know. Well, anyway, we were talking all this time. Again, I was out here in Minneapolis. He was up there in Washington, and I remember the call where I was. He said, "Hey, Ron, are your theology notes ready to go to turn into a book?" Because I was teaching systematic theology for some 20 years in a Christian university setting. And I looked at him and I said, "No, Mike, they're not really ready. It would take, quite a bit of work." And I was also pastoring at the time. So I just, pushed back in the sense of just my timing. And so unbeknownst to me, he starts writing it himself. And so, again, what is a systematic theology compared to what he did? Put it this way, Mike walked through his story of how he, from Psalm 82 on, how he saw the story of plural Elohim working and the sons of God concept and the Deuteronomy 32 allotment of the nations and so forth. And he took all those pieces. If you've read the book, it's chapter by chapter, taking themes that he sees that, dovetail, or shall we say domino tip their way through the Bible. So you, by the time you get to the end of Unseen Realm, you've worked your way through the entire Bible, following a theme. Well, of course, what that leaves open then, or out, shall we say, is a theology of the whole Bible when it comes to issues like the Lord's Supper, baptism, all those tangential issues that may or may not have an effect on the doctrine or on the divine council issue. So and I didn't know this, but Drina knows, that when Mike passed away, he had written quite a bit on the doctrine of God and the doctrine of Jesus. That's basically what he had completed. Completed, when you talk to a theologian like Mike, it's never complete. It's always
it's always a process. Yes, it's always adding on. Yeah.
All right. So when Mike passed away, I did not know he had that he had that written. Drina came to me and said, this is here. We need to get it out. And I said, I would love to, take that and work with it. Knowing again how much Mike had put into it. And here's the problem too. Mike is so voluminous, whether it be YouTube videos or teaching seminars, and not just his printed material. But I'm busy collecting all that and collating it. I'm also taking 30 years of my ministry stuff and some 20 years of college teaching. And here's what happened. Okay, about a year ago, I think when this started, I threw this out to our community as an option. If you would like to help me edit and think through.
All right. So before you get there, because you're getting ahead of the game here, man.
Okay.
So one of the things that we're gonna do is this. Okay, Ron is about to share with you guys one of the best opportunities you will ever have to engage with new unseen material. Obviously, I use that with dramatic effect, but
good job.
Unseen material, right? Don't give your back to this opportunity, please, because you're going to be able to be part of a team that is going to put this content out like never before. Ron is going to be able to be part, it's going to allow you to be part of a team that is going to be reviewing this material before it even hit the market. And Ron is going to explain to you how that's going to be done. And then after that, I'm going to allow you to get something that will help you save a ton of money when you join, especially if you do it in a yearly basis. So I'm going to help you do the math, and then you're going to let us know if it makes sense or not. So I'm going to go back to Ron, and now Ron, go ahead on and share with our audience what's the plan for this systematic theology volume. Is this volume 1?
Well, by the time it's published, it'll probably be 2 volumes just because of the size, right? Just the length. It would be hard to put it into one. So it's 1 volume or it's 1 book, but it probably would be in 2 separate volumes. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the prediction.
Okay, so go ahead on and give us the plan of how this is going to happen.
So what I've been doing, and this is how I wrote my dissertation. I remember when I was going through that process. What happens is you are reading all these things, and you have, and this is the beauty of the modern computer systems we have. You can have all your documents, all your chapters, as it were, open at one time on the computer. And so whenever you read something, you put it on that page. Whenever you read something, the next paragraph over, it's on another, part of your document. So what you're doing is creating the entire book at one time, but you just have so much information. And right now, I mean, we're talking, I'm not kidding, thousands, well, I would say about 1,200 pages. I just added up the other day of good material that I need to winnow down into a book form. And the challenge that I would love, and I honestly say this, and please take me at my word on this, that I need help. Not because I haven't thought through a lot of this stuff like you guys have. It's that there is so much out there when it comes to putting this worldview together into a theology book. The problem is too much, not too little, right? And so how to winnow it down into manageable chapters. I have 15 chapters, and what I had done about a year ago, and I'm glad I did it, but I have let people down, I think, on this level. I opened it up to people who wanted to email me, and I said, if you'd like to help me, I'd be happy to start sending out chapters. I did that at the beginning with the entire overview of the book. And then it became too cumbersome on my side with all that at least 200 people emailed me, and it became too hard to get back to all 200, shall we say. And then the concern was, well, why would someone ever buy the finished product if I'm giving them the book piecemeal, right?
Right.
We decided to pull that back, and here's the announcement tonight. And I'm glad you said it the way you did, Jorge. This is, to me, a good opportunity, and I don't mean just to be over the top on this needlessly. To me, this is the opportunity for anyone in the world who wants to be part of this book and forming a systematic theology of the Divine Council Worldview that we can put in the hands of the average church layman and pastor and church. This will be the process to be a part of that. And I'm going to take it very seriously on my side, and let me explain it. Every other week, we're going to put a chapter of material that is more than we still have to decide exactly what we're going to put online, but it will be a comprehensive, at least, overview of the topics that will be in that chapter, each chapter. Okay. And so it'll be coming out. We're going to put it into the DRMSH website. And by the way, I can give you the dates here. The first drop.
Actually, let me make a quick correction there. So it's going to be not on the website, but on the community.
There we go.
Right.
See, I don't know the terms.
Right.
Okay.
So this is and let me explain to everybody here why this is so important. And when I'm saying everybody, not you guys, obviously, it's our audience on the other side. And it is simple. The community was the tool that was developed for Mike to be able to free up his time and his other commitments to be able to generate income so he can focus on this, on writing, teaching, traveling. Well, the Lord had a different idea, but obviously he didn't leave us without this amazing community that now continue to fund everything that we do here at the Michael S. Heiser Foundation. Now, if you guys don't know everything that we do, I'm sure that I can put together a live stream with Drina, and we can share with you guys everything we do. We're doing scholarships. We continue to produce material. We have, again, exclusive material within the community. We are going to be working on publishing not only this book, but several other projects. We're putting together conferences. We're putting together Divine Council Worldview trips overseas to the biblical lands and the historical places. So it's a lot of stuff that is happening, and it is completely funded by you guys on the other side of the screen. That's exactly what the community does. So think about the community as a Patreon style of community, but it is owned by us and is for you. So the idea was to do that. Well, the Lord decided that Mike was going to move into the unseen realm sooner than we all wanted to, but we still have an amazing community. In there, you're going to find a ton of like-minded people sharing articles, ideas, sharing their heart. You even have a prayer section that you can actually ask for prayer or pray for others. We're going to have subgroups, and we're going to have this study group within the community. And actually, Dr. Ronn Johnson right now have a series that is going to be going on for probably another year and some change called the Daily Dose of Bible. He does the same thing that Mike did, which was a weekly live stream right now. And I think you're going to be doing a biweekly. Is that how it's going to be? Just explain it to us.
Yeah. So starting March 25th, I'm going to drop a chapter of the book every other week into the community site. Okay. Not a finished chapter, but a rather comprehensive outline of everything that chapter is about. Let's say it that way. In fact, it's going to be more than what will go into the final product, is my guess. And then every other week, then, so that March 25th will be the first drop. 2 weeks after that, that's April 8th, we'll begin live Q&As with anyone who can join in with me. It'll be Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday night throughout, starting in April until we're done. So that'll be probably early fall. And so I'll be dropping a portion of the book or a chapter every other week, and also having a live stream on the week after it's been dropped each time. Is that making sense? So April 8th, April 22nd, May 6th. And you'll always have a week to look at the material, in other words. And I would love to have people join, especially if you don't know a lot about the Divine Council Worldview. Here is your chance to talk with like-minded people about it's going to be a chapter of this systematic theology book, one at a time, that we get to talk through. If you come, and this is my promise really to everyone, if you come with good ideas that are really helpful to the book, they'll make it into the book. In other words, there's always things like this going on in our conversations with folks. Hey, what about this passage? How this passage helps this view? And oh, that's right. In other words, nobody knows everything on this. And Mike has given us a wonderful foundation to work from. And I look forward to being able to talk with people around the world every other Tuesday night, starting April 8th, with whoever can join us. And if you just want to listen, that'd be great. If you want to participate and talk and ask questions and recommend things, I am going to be all ears, because this book needs the help of the entire DRMSH community.
Yeah. So I remember the last few live streams that Mike was able to do. I remember sitting up, going for a whole hour. He was already bad off, and to see a revival within the community, the type of conversations that you guys be having in the community with the Daily Dose of Bible, and now with this Systematic Theology project, it is just incredible. 2 years ago, we were all in a doom and gloom situation. We were grieving. We were just hurting. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know where we were going. Now you fast forward a couple of years, it still hurts. But now we have this renew. I think you said it in the best way possible, Ron. You said this is a movement. If you notice how many people are coming up with great quality materials based on what Mike has done. I just saw my friend Niels Glenn here. I was just texting with Joel Mutamali. I have you three here in front of me now. We don't have Mike Chu, but Mike Chu is creating a lot of great content. And for a lot of you guys on the other side, you guys might not know, but I have a podcast that is totally dedicated to the DCW called The Strange Bible. It's in Spanish, and it only has one season, 6 episodes or 5 episodes, highly produced, and it has 5-star ratings up and down. So, and not because I say it, but because it's blowing people's minds. This is why we call edutainment. Is almost like a dramatized version of a DCW podcast with voice mods and a bunch of other things. But what we're seeing here is a total revolution of what's happening. So this is what I'm going to share with you guys and everybody here, either you, Mel, or Rich, you can pitch in, and Ron, you can too. So this is what we're going to do. So for everybody who is going to be part, you see it right here in my corner. Right here in my corner, you're seeing a QR code. And I'm actually going to put it on the chat as well. All you have to do is to scan that QR code, sign up for the community, and you're going to get 30% off. Now, if you do the monthly, you will get this 30% off for 12 months from the day you sign up using the promo code 30 off Heiser, 30 OFF Heiser, all one word, all together. And you will get 30% off every month for a year. But if you sign up for the yearly, I already get the notifications of people saying I'm signing up for it. What you need to do is if you sign up for the yearly membership, at the yearly membership, you're already saving 15%. So if you add this 30% on top of the 15%, you are saving 45% off the yearly membership. So that's 45% off the community. Now, mind you, I know a lot of people are going to be here. This is all to say. Listen. The worker deserves his wages. And these are the wages for you to help us create the content that you enjoy and you're edified by. So I don't know how else I can explain this. Okay? If you don't like infomercials and you think this is an infomercial, then you have free will. That is a foundational, transferable property that God gives us to have true love. It is a foundation for human beings to be able to experience true love is to have freedom of the will. So you're free to not support or support either way. But what you're not going to find if you don't sign up to the community is the ton of free resources, exclusive resources, camaraderie, like-minded people, connections, and the like that are inside the community. I know you want to have your latte for $14, or you want to have your combo at Burger King and McDonald's, and for half of that, you can support everything that we're doing here for years to come. So all you got to do, scan that code, or click the link that is on the chat that I'm about to put on the chat, or the link that is in the description here, and go ahead on and get you the 30% off for the community, and then join Ron on the Systematic Theology book and become part of the team that put together this. This is never done before Systematic Theology project. And we will assure you that you will get the credit for whatever, this is one of the things we all want to be. I mean, I shared the screen with Mike many a times. I have shared the book cover with Sean McDowell and Frank Turek and a bunch of other people. I will give all of that up to share the credits of a book with Mike Heiser. So this is an opportunity of the lifetime. So just go ahead and do that. I don't know, you guys, I'm maxed out. I think my Adderall is gone. I'm just going to let you guys talk.
Well, you know, when we were talking about and creating What Does God Want, one of the things that we did want to do was gather people together to talk about discipleship and bring things like that. We never made it that far. It was just a couple of us. But in that same vein, you know what I mean? It does well when you invite people. And when you were talking about that, Ron, the first, there are two channels I'm going to shout out here on YouTube. Euler's Identity Crisis and our brother over there. He was the first one that came to mind when you started mentioning this. His content is amazing. He's a brilliant young man, and I appreciate him going through and watching the videos of other critiquing Mike It was nice to be able to watch it with someone else so I didn't have to suffer together. So thank you so much for that, as well as Will Hess and some knucklehead named Derek Beeler at the church split. No, I'm just playing, Derek. They did the same thing. They went through those videos and made it much easier. But there are like those guys on here that, could take part because they're brilliant. Euler's, his channel is absolutely wonderful to listen to when he goes through. He's so intelligent and very, very generous and kind when he speaks. And I really like that. It reminded me a lot of Mike, and how Mike was and how generous Mike was when he talked to people and how gentle he was when he talked to people. But this should be fun. This should be a real fun thing for you to do because I know we all look forward to it. We all want to see, more and understand more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else?
I think one of the things that I think is because you're talking about one aspect of that, Rich, and the other is I really liked, I always get a good laugh when you say, I'm going to give my testimony about, how you were serving in Berkeley, and the first half was on acid. I love it because it's just so dang real, and here's the thing, folks, if you, I'm just going to tell people out there, the one thing you're going to get from Rich and myself is a lot of authenticity. And the Bible is very authentic. Like it just shows the flaws, the warts and all of of God's people. I mean, Mary Magdalene, I was just reading something the other day. I was just reminded Mary Magdalene, who Jesus loved, and she was really part of his inner circle. She had 7 demons in her, before she was part of that inner circle. Just like, well, no, I'm not saying Rich had 7 demons, but he did have acid.
Like 12.
Hey, he did. Yeah, he did have. He probably had about 62. Okay.
And so the thing is, folks, is this is real. This is kind of what we're called to face. And definitely here in America, church has just become too whitewashed, too plain, too put on your Sunday's best and kind of go and act like you got everything straight. No, church is where you go to, number one, it's what you do every day. It's the community of believers you're with every day, but it's where you get healed. It's that inner circle of community you get healed. And so, when you come to this conference, I'm going to admit I'm not a professional counselor, so I can't handle or fix all your problems. But I don't mind us having real conversations, like the ones that Rich is going to tell on Friday night, because that's the real stuff. When Jesus was walking into places, he was not going into all the whitewashed communities. He went into some synagogues and they didn't hear him. They did not listen to him. But when he went into the pool of Bethesda, where all the beggars or the lame were trying to jump in the pool, or he was in different situations with lepers and the blind, healing, in places where people were seeking out healing, that was just real. That was life flawed, and so we really want to have good discussions about how DCW, how people are kind of dealing with that, how this is really affecting our world. It's not just this natural materialistic world that we're dealing with. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. And a lot of the things that we think are just normal, medical, whatever, we've given these naturalistic conclusions. And some of them, there is a medical condition there. But I guarantee you, the enemy is using our weaknesses to exploit us and to marginalize us in different ways. If he can use any part of your weaknesses to marginalize you, he will do so. But it's if you can understand their role, but if you can understand your authority, and that's kind of where we want to go with this. That's kind of what Rich was stepping into when he was going into Berkeley, is he was stepping into his authority as an imager. This whole thing is, this whole podcast is, Ron and Mike are going to teach you. And the point of them teaching you is so you can understand your authority and step into that and live it actively every day. And sometimes you're just going about, you're just doing your normal thing, but God's going to call you to some kind of divine, appointment.
That's right.
And you need to be ready for that, and you need to be ready to step into that.
So again, make sure that you show up for the conference. Make sure that you are part of this amazing effort that you guys are putting up there, and make sure that you join the community. And today you can do it for either 45% off if you do the yearly, or 30% off if you do the monthly. Yes, the discount is for new members. We're trying to get more people in. And this is one of the things that I want to explain about the community. So the other day I had a conversation with someone, and I want all of you guys to pitch in because this is important. We're not selling a product, right? How many ministries do you support where you don't get a thing? Right? A bunch. Hopefully a bunch. Right? How many times you've given, you give to give. You don't give to get. It's not commerce. What's happening here is we're not bartering. We're not doing that. You're doing because you believe in the projects that we have. What we're trying to do is to say, okay, you out of the kindness of your heart, you're supporting this, whether it's with discount or without discount. You believe in what we're doing. We're doing this. And I always tell people, if you think it doesn't take money to do ministry, you haven't done ministry in a very long time. So because we want new supporters that hopefully after the year is up, they continue to support us without the discount, because every penny counts. Okay? We have to maintain servers. We have to maintain apps. We have to have staff. We have to license a lot of the content that is in there. But we're doing it because it is an incentive for you to give on top of the goodwill that you already have with us in terms of the content and the ministry that we're doing. We don't count how many people go in and fill out the salvation form of all of that. That's for God to know. But what we want to do is to focus the focus on this. And I got a thing here that says attempted to sign up monthly. It says 30 of Heiser is invalid. I'm about it right now while you guys talk. And I think our web developer for the community is watching. So in case you're watching, Zach, see if you can check it out. If somebody else had that same experience, let us know. And I want to thank Lisa Shackelford. She says, I love the DRMSH. I love supporting and awakening. So thank you for helping us. But make sure, right, that you go to the community. Just disclaimer here. This is not Awakening. They're their own institution. If you support them, then you're supporting them. You're not supporting us. You got to go to the community. We got to make sure that's clear, because the community is what supports the DCW Systematic Theology book, the Image Conference, and the Divine Council Worldview podcast. Got to make sure. I got Kay Hayes says the code worked for me, so maybe is an issue on the end of the Monster Movie Stomp Down. That's the handle for this fella, or well, I don't know if it's a gentleman or a lady. I don't know. Sounds like a fella, but anyways,
sounds like a
you
bro.
Guys, yeah, sounds like a bro, right? So just go ahead on and guys continue to make this whatever comments you guys want to make, and I don't know if you guys have anything else. If you guys want to do Q&A, how about we ask the audience if they want to do, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes of Q&A, and then we try to answer some DCW questions. And actually, I have a first one over here that I'm going to find. Somebody was asking about understanding better the DCW, and I think we have a great podcast episode for you to do that. So just go ahead on anybody. Any of you can pick up the mic.
I'll say someone asked if the conference will be live streamed. It will not be live streamed. That's too tough for this one. But we will be recording it. All the sessions and things will be recorded, and then they'll be given. And I'm probably sure you'll be able to find some of those in the community, or here on YouTube at some point.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Anybody
also,
else?
Pastor Marcos asked us what do we feed our beards to get them this way?
Genetics,
just
baby.
Red meat.
Genetics,
Red
baby.
meat.
That's
Red
it.
meat. All red meat diet.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Let's,
Strictly vegan, of course.
Yeah. Strictly vegan meat. It can only eat grass.
It can only be vegan meat. It fell off the tree.
And can I bring up, Rich, the idea that if a pastor in the nation somewhere else, within the States wants to have this kind of conference, how would they start that conversation with you? In other words,
I have no idea. This stuff is like miraculous and only happens every once in a while. I mean, I've only ever gotten to do 4 of these, and to get all the people involved, be able to go and stuff. I mean, you can let me know. I mean, I'd definitely be interested in seeing it. But, again, like to get Fern and Audrey to a place, I mean, this is the first one, so we'll see how this goes. I know they're interested. But, yeah, I mean, it would be fun to do many more of these. I want to go to Calgary and do it. And I want to go out to the West Coast. I would love to do it down like in Palmdale where we did. I got a lot of friends down there in Southern California who have been to one that Heiser already had, but would love to do another one out there. So I mean, if anybody actually is interested, you can email me at miclotrich@gmail.com. And I mean, I'm always willing to talk about stuff because this stuff is going to be fun. I mean, it's rare that it happens. So when it does, it's exciting. And there's not been a time when I've gone to one of these conferences, either with Mike to a conference or holding one with him, where we were just not completely blessed by everyone we met. We learned so much from everybody there. We all know that they did too, but we learned so much. And that was important for us, as me and Mike were always learners. We were trying to learn as much as we can about the people that were there, what they were doing, how they were going about their work. So yeah, if anyone is interested, please let me know.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, we do need to, again, we need to continue to popularize this material, make sure that we normalize it within the church setting. They need to stop seeing us like we have 4 heads when we talk about this. I'm blessed because I got a congregation that fell on my lap. I think it's a blessing for me. I don't know if it's a blessing for the sheep of that congregation, but I've never pastored a church before, and I'm sort of like doing that since August of last year. I was teaching right before doing the live stream, but it is amazing how the more you put it out there in small bites, small chunks, the more people want it. So it is definitely something that we can be doing. I wish more of these conferences will be put together. We just have to figure out a way to get a rhythm and do it and bring people that are obviously well-versed into this. But I think that the new book that is going to be published by Logos next year, and the systematic theology book that is being put together here at the Michael S. Heiser Foundation and the community, it's also going to create a big enough buzz to get people to inquire about this. I'll make sure of that. And then the other thing I wanted to say is, now that I mentioned Logos, is I am planning as we speak to schedule a live stream for Monday evening. And actually, I got to talk to you, Ron, about that. Maybe I can borrow you for about 30 minutes or so, because I want you. Okay, I want you guys to see Ron's legit reaction to this, because I haven't talked to him. All right.
No, this is all new to me.
So this is new. So I want to borrow you for about 30, 40 minutes on Monday, hopefully, because, and I just ran this by Scott last I think yesterday or day before yesterday, because I want to put you against the new feature and logos so you guys can go toe to toe on the Divine Council Worldview. All right. So it's going to be man against machine. Okay.
Yeah.
On the Divine Council Worldview. And I probably, if I don't get any issues, I will put the Terminator music in the background. Dun, 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 dun.
Can you give me a preview of what this means? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is live, I'm going to ask a question, right?
Okay.
Just like I ask a person a question
Okay.
about the DCW. Like it's going to be a Q&A.
All right.
But we're going to see how Dr. Ronn Johnson answers, and then we're going to see how this feature answers.
So it's like a chat GPT or something like that.
Something
that's tied
like
into
that.
Logos?
Yes,
Okay.
something like
Okay.
that. Yes. It's
Give
gonna
me
be,
a sample question.
I'm going to send them to you. Okay.
Well, no, I mean.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
I'll send you a sample because actually Scott is the one that has the questions.
Got it.
But it's
okay.
not going to be anything that I haven't heard you say on the DCW podcast or something like that, or you haven't read from Mike's book. But I think it's
well,
it's
that sounds fun. I mean,
yeah,
I'm
it's going to be fun.
I'm glad to lose to a machine any day.
No, it's fun. It ain't chess,
Fight
man.
that
It ain't chess.
T800.
And it is funny because I was talking to him and he said, well, he uses accordance, and accordance is for the Hebrew geeks, that it has all these tools and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I still want to put him, against the machine to see how he does. And well, because of my ADHD, I had forgotten to text you about 2 days ago, and I decided to do it live. So I want everybody to know right now that on Monday around, I don't know, Ron, maybe 8 Eastern, around the same time.
This is the 24th.
The 24th, yeah. Monday around 9 p.m. Eastern maybe works for you?
Yep, it does.
All right. So we'll do it, and then it's going to be Ron versus the Christian AI. Okay?
Yeah.
Sweet.
We're going to do it. We're going to
showdown.
do it. So you guys going to see this. Any other thoughts? Let me see. Oh, let's see. I know it's coming. Training videos to prep. Let me see. Just sign up. I had no idea if the discount went. Let's see. All this. Okay, that's Drina. Any more questions, guys? Any of you has questions? Okay, somebody says, I'm putting all my money on HAL 2000. So people don't, what does the Bible say? Trust no man. Do not trust in the flesh. Ron, I think they taken this Bible verses out of context, man. I'll trust you, man. Ron 2000. Somebody says no. They said they want to trust in Ron 2000. So,
brother.
Anyways, I don't know anything else. Let's remind people about the conference. This is not a pond, it's a stream. So some people need to know about the conference and the book.
Yeah. Again, the MSH Foundation will be hosting a conference in Anderson, Indiana, the Image Conference, May 2nd and 3rd. Again, this is a free event sponsored by the foundation. I'll be honest, like Drina, doing that really took a huge load off me. Honestly, it took like half my burden, as that's some of the hardest parts of this is to do so. But if you can go to the Michael S. Heiser Foundation.org page, you can go to the events and you can go to the bottom and sign up. Please do. It should be a great time. There's going to be a lot of cool people there. Like I already know about 15 people that are just my friends that are coming, and man, I look forward to that.
Cool.
Awesome.
And as far as the book, on March 25th, we'll do our first drop of the first chapter into the community website, or the community section, as you call it. And then on the 8th of April, we'll have our first live Q&A over that material that's been sitting there available for 2 weeks. Again, and then on the 25th, I'll also drop the next week or the next material for that next 2 week Q&A. So every other Tuesday throughout the summer, starting April 8th, we're going to have a live Q&A, and I welcome everyone to join in just for the conversation and the fellowship.
Awesome. So, yes, we got a conference. Yes, we have a book coming up, and we have a duel on Monday that has just been announced. So do not miss it. This is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of like-minded people. Join the community, support us. And I don't know what else to say. I'm super, super excited about all of these things that are coming. Super blessed to be able to just stand here shoulder to shoulder with you guys. So I'm just going to give you
brother.
guys,
Appreciate all you do.
just last few words, each one of you, and then we can go home.
I'm good to go. Thank you so much, Jorge, for all you do for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it, brother. Thank you, Drina, and thank all of you out there, for all your support and the encouragement. And I look forward to meeting many of you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you
Thanks
guys.
for all your support.
All right. Bye.
God bless.